taken, such as food, water, and warm clothing. Physical abuse, unexplained injuries. You will be able to identify suspicious marks or bruises in the face, arms, or other parts of the body where the abuse has been done. The worst case scenario is where the individual will be hospitalized due to their injuries in the body. This is hard for a carer or guardian to identify where the injuries that a service user or child is accidental or intentional. Therefore, they must know the difference between them. A clear sign of an individual who is being physically abused are finger marks, bruises around the neck, or even in the arms. Also, there are different colors in the bruises shows depending on how long it happened. Blue shows that the bruise is quite recent, and yellow shows that the bruise has been there for quite a while. Knowing which injuries are accidental and intentional is a big difference to the service user and the child. Next indicator, changes in behavior. This is the abuse would be bullying. When an individual is being sexually abused, they will start to change their behavior to the people around them due to the individual's trauma of what happened and their self-esteem. For example, if a girl aged 13 years old got sexually abused by a 40-year-old man, she will tend to avoid males because they don't feel confident around them anymore because of what happened. Therefore, the individuals will be around the same sex because of what happened, so they will be around girls. The individual behavior will change for being a confident, happy, and outgoing individual to a self-aware, depressed, and vulnerable individual because of what happened. This change of behavior will affect the individual's lifestyle and their self-confidence level. Next one is stress, which triggers health problems, and this could happen to all of the abuse, but I've specifically put sexual abuse on this one because I think that's the worst. The sign will more likely to occur when the individual is getting psychological abuse, but again, sexual is kind of big as well. They will be stressed, and the individual will be stressed, and one of the health problems that this type of abuse will trigger is an eating disorder, where the individual will either eat less or more depending on how the individual is being treated. This is on the emotional abuse. This health problem will result to having common diseases if not stopped, such as obesity and anorexia. It's not really disease, maybe a disorder. Also, stress can trigger other health problems that could happen. Could happen in the individual, such as cardiac, neurological, respiratory, gastrointestinal, and muscle systems. So those diseases could happen to them because of the stress. Stress is caused by all different kinds of abuse, such as physical, psychological, and depending which abuse the individual has to carry their life, different health problems will be triggered, mainly causes by stress. So, let's say physical abuse, and that could lead to stress, and stress the individual could self-harm themselves because of that. So, and there are loads of different things that could happen. And lastly, financial difficulties. This is focused on financial abuse. Being financially abused is by a partner or a member of the family will have a big impact to the individual's physical and emotional well-being. The individual will show signs of difficulty in their lifestyle because they have enough money to buy their basic needs such as food and water. Therefore, they will lose weight, and over time they will develop stress and depression. This could lead to self-harming themselves because the individual can't cope with the stress because they don't have enough money to buy food and water. Alright. Factors that may lead to abusive situations. Number one, the environment. The environment is a big factor where the abuse can be done in a certain situation or place. For example, a couple in a bedroom, the couple is in the bedroom, there is a potential that the female can be sexually abused by the male. The place is the key whether the abuser will have a chance to abuse the victim. Different places poses different abuse, such as physical, psychological, to the vulnerable individual. So let's say in school, the individual could get bullied, or in a certain place where the individual could get culturally abused. The next one is family history. Family history is also a big factor when it comes to abuse. This could be the reason why the abuser abuses other individuals, because their family has a history of abusing other people. The abuser could have been the one who was being abused by their parents when they were a child. Therefore, they think it's normal to abuse their children. This is a vicious cycle which will not end until the abuser learns that it is not acceptable to abuse their children or even their partners. Good parenting and showing the child the right and the wrong things during their childhood is very important to avoid this situation, because children will follow what their parents do. That is why if the child is being abused during their childhood, there is a big possibility when they grow up that they will become the abuser to their children or to other people. The next factor is the lack of mental capacity. Individuals who have a lack of mental capacity will be an easy target for the abuser, because they will not be able to realize that they are being abused. For example, the abuser could exploit the individual financially. They can take them out. They can take out. They can take out of it, or even they can. Oh no, sorry. They can talk them out of it, or even lie to an individual for them to take their money. The individual will never know that they are being abused because of the lack of mental capacity that they have. Another good example of this is where the individual who is being abused will think that they are just playing around, but in reality they are being physically abused. A really good example of this, which is one of my case study, is Winterborn. This people that has mental disabilities, and the carer is physically abusing them by playing high fives. But when they high five, it's like it really hurt them, but they don't realize it because they think they're just playing. The next factor is relationship involving power. This factor can happen between couples and families. Having a good relationship at first will be the one that can build the individual, will be the one that can blind the individual from knowing that they are already being abused by their partner. The individual will not be able to realize that they are being abused by their partner because they love them. Also, the individual knows that they are being abused. Also, this is another reason. The individual knows that they are being abused by their partner, but they are not willing to accept the fact that they are being abused because the love and the relationship side. So basically, they just letting them abuse them for some reason. The last thing is social isolation. If an individual is socially isolating themselves around them, they will be an easy target to the abuser because the abuser can abuse the individual by using compliments, support, and being their friend. This is called grooming. Once the abuser have got the individuals in the palm of their hands, which means that the individual will follow whatever the abuser wants. Therefore, they can physically, emotionally, financially, and sexually abuse the individual.